Hi everybody, and welcome to an edition of My Book Report. And my book report is on the 1959 post-apocalyptic novel, Alas, Babylon, by Pat Frank. It's actually Alas, Babylon. The library that I checked this out from put this flowered cover on it. It's an interesting choice for a book about the nuclear holocaust. But, nonetheless, the book centers around a character named Randy Bragg. His brother Mark is in the Air Force and has sent him a telegram ending in the message, Alas, Babylon, a reference to the 18th chapter of Revelation, where it is predicted that Babylon will be destroyed in 1 hour. By God's wrath. This wrath, in this case, is the nuclear holocaust. No sooner does Randy's brother Mark notify him of the holocaust to come, and Randy is out purchasing supplies when the war breaks out. Somehow, the town of Fort Repose, Florida, a fictional place, is spared the worst of the nuclear attack and the ensuing fallout. Randy has Mark's family with him and his friends and neighbors, and they struggle to recover from the nuclear holocaust. This is a fantastic book. Now, it was written in 1959. So, some of the language is a bit archaic, and there are some racial slurs made in the narrative and in the dialogue. They're minor slurs, and they are unfortunately, a thing of their time. But as the book shows, everyone learns to get along and function together, regardless of age, sex, or color. As I mentioned, it is a product of its time. I should imagine that many people from my parents' generation were terrified of reading this book, just as I was. You know, we children of the 80s, we suffered the last part of the Cold War, and it was a terrifying time for all of us. Interesting enough, the original checkout card was still inside the book, and is a little piece of history in this card. The dates are very interesting. Here's the image. As you can see on the card, the library that I borrowed the book from purchased the book possibly prior to November of 1962. November 8th is the first date that appears on the card, and the book was published in 1959. So it's possible that the Dickinson County Library purchased the book prior to the Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962. As the only time the dates appear is started in July of 1963. So it's possible that someone checked out this book prior to the Cuban Missile Crisis in the summer of 1962, as referenced by the June 26th date. And then, because of the heightened security and fear that was going on during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the book is not checked out again until after the crisis is over the following summer in 1963. Now, as many of you also know, in November of 1963, Kennedy is assassinated. This book is checked in October of 1963, and then not checked out again until September of 1964, 1 year after Kennedy is assassinated. It's a strange set of coincidental dates, that's for sure. Like I said, doesn't prove anything before 1963, but it's possible and something to think about. So Pat Frank describes the worst of our fears in The Last Babylon in the atomic age of the 1950s and 1960s. And we get to revisit that in the now and reflect on what those fears were then, and quite possibly what they even still could be today. I mean, we still have a nuclear arsenal. It's being run by extremely seriously outdated equipment, by the way, but it's there none the same, just in case. So, this is an A+ book. I recommend picking up a copy of it. Thanks for joining me. Take care.